Welcome back to Fox 2 Detroit Live. It's Fox 2 Detroit Live at 4 right now. I'm your host, Ronia Shamona, and I want to get to this conversation happening on Mackinac Island. We're hearing all from business leaders, from politicians, and so much more about things that need to happen in our state. One of those conversations has to do with car insurance rates because they continue to go up here in Michigan. And for Michiganders, it's really affecting our wallets. So right now, lawmakers and industry leaders are meeting to talk about affordability and possible changes. Joining us now live from Mackinac is Eric Poe from Acura Auto Insurance. Hi, Eric. Thanks for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you for having me.
So talk to me about this discussion. Why is car insurance still a big issue for Michigan drivers, and what's being done to address it?
Well, the biggest problem is that we're forcing everybody in the state of Michigan to buy the most car insurance of any state in the United States of America, which inherently makes us the highest cost for car insurance in America. And then we have a lot of fraud and abuse, which is why you see plaintiff personal injury attorneys on every television station you watch. If you turn on the TV, you drive down the highway. It's a system that's broken that basically benefits a certain number of plaintiff attorneys and certain providers that are able to abuse the system. So when you require everybody to buy a lot of insurance coverage and you don't allow insurance carriers to make sure that the claims that they pay out are legitimate, you basically have fraud and abuse, and you force everybody to buy the most expensive thing there is in the country.
What are we hearing from lawmakers right now during this Mackinac Policy Conference? Is there possible changes that could help Michiganders?
Yes, there is a bill in the House that has been sponsored by Wirtz, as well as Jenkins, Arno, and Tate. So there's bipartisan bill that has been introduced that will allow people to opt out of no fault entirely, or just choose a much lower limit, which doesn't require car insurance carriers to cover so much. And that bill could save 55% off of what people are paying for car insurance if it's actually passed.
55% is a pretty big number, Eric. I mean, that could save us a lot of money. I do want to know something as far as, I know Michigan has pretty bad rates. What does that really mean in comparison to the rest of the country?
Yeah, so for example, the city of Detroit has the highest cost for car insurance of any city in the United States. The average cost for car insurance in the city of Detroit is $5,300 a year, which pales in comparison to any other state in the country or any other city in the country. And the reason why 55% is such a large number is because, believe it or not, half of the cost that you pay for car insurance is not to insure your car. It's actually to provide you health insurance as a substitute for your own health insurance carrier. So what happens in no-fault states, and Michigan is one of them, there's only 13 no-fault states in the whole United States of America. But Michigan is one of them, and we require everybody to buy so much coverage that all insurance companies can do is just charge you more money. And then when you use credit scores on top of it, the people with lower incomes that have the biggest problem with affordability actually have to pay more for the biggest policy in the United States of America to begin with.
Yeah, it seems like they're digging too deep into what we should be paying versus what we can afford. But also, Eric, I want to get into, a lot of people seem to be shopping for the best rate. If we're shopping, does it really make a difference? Because I feel like if we're bad all around, I mean, it might not be much of a difference with all these auto insurance companies.
Well, see, this is what is debated a lot. So the reality is that if we require everybody buy $1 million worth of life insurance, and there's people that just want $250,000 that can only afford $250,000 worth of life insurance, it doesn't matter. You can shop everywhere. But if your life insurance company market is required to sell $1 million worth of life insurance, you can shop all day long, but there's not going to be a rate that's affordable for people. And if you don't have that much money and you just want to make sure that when you pass away, you have $250,000 to give to your spouse, your children, whatever, that's affordable to you, you'd rather have people to be able to afford that life insurance policy than to say everybody's got to buy $1 million worth of life insurance and make it so unaffordable that nobody can even buy it. right? And so that's what we have is in Michigan right now is a dysfunctional system that has been around for over 40 plus years. And the people that actually make money off this system are the attorneys who also spend a lot of money on lobbying efforts. So it's very difficult to pass laws when the people that are well funded spend money on lobbyists to make sure that lawmakers don't pass meaningful reform. And that's why you have a perpetuated problem that makes an affordability crisis. And the biggest problem really here is that you can't even get out of poverty. You can't get up an income scale if you can't afford to have a car, right? If we're going to limit your job to a bus route or a bike route, you really don't give people opportunities to actually have jobs and move up the income scale. And that's really the bigger problem that underlies this need for reform.
I can't even imagine the struggle for parents who have to get their kids, their teens, a car, because I'm sure those rates are pretty high.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I get hugs on the street sometimes because before we entered the state of Michigan, there are people that had two jobs just to pay for their car insurance bill. And that's underlying a serious problem. Like, I feel like if the legislature doesn't deal with car insurance reform in this session, then we really got to ask what are our lawmakers doing? They're here to represent the people. We can't control the Strait of Hormuz, but we can control whether or not we're going to make everybody buy the most insurance and the most abused system in the United States of America.
Erica, for drivers that are watching right now, hopefully they're not on the road watching, but for drivers that are watching right now, what message do you have for them as far as what they could do to save on their auto insurance?
So two things. I would say that believe in the democratic process. Like, you need to call your legislator. I know that normal people feel disenchanted. They don't think they make a difference. If you ask most people, they think no one's ever going to listen to me. I'm a peon. Believe it or not, politicians know that if you're making a phone call to their office or you send an email to their office, there are 10 people that are not calling them that feel the same way. So believe it or not, your voice matters during this legislative session. That's number one. Number two, so demand reform. Number two, you have to shop around and not rely only on your agent or broker because they get paid a commission. So there are new options that were introduced during the law in 2019. However, if you are an agent or broker and you're paid a commission and this is their job, right? They're not going to tell you to take a choice that is going to lower their own commission. That was an option that was introduced in the 2019 reforms. So we still have 60% of the drivers in Michigan choosing the old coverage, which is the most coverage in the United States, which is unlimited. So just imagine a car insurance company that has to give you coverage to an unlimited amount. Imagine if you're a life insurance company and I had to write you a life insurance policy, and when somebody dies, your spouse gets to just say, you get whatever amount of money you want. That's essentially what car insurers are required to do, is give unlimited insurance, and then you wonder why you're paying the highest cost in the United States of America. It's not like Michigan is such a bizarre state. It's not like we live in a hurricane belt. Why is Michigan drivers paying the highest cost for car insurance? Because you have an abused system that needs reform.
Eric, for people who want to get more information about Cure and their prices and availability, where do they need to go?
They need to just go to cure.com, realize that we don't require credit scores. We're the only carrier, I believe, in the state of Michigan that doesn't even use your credit to determine your rates. So cure.com is the place to go.
Thank you so much for joining us and taking the time to inform us about this and push us to really contact our leaders in Lansing.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. And we'll put all this information as well on our website at fox2detroit.com, along with the link for Cure Auto Insurance. Yeah, might as well shop around. And if you could save a few bucks, it always helps.